Hey y'all, today we are with one of our favorite travel vloggers, the Travel Beans, Alex and Emma.
Hello.
Hello.
So,
Thanks so much.
so maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your channel and we'll go from there.
Oh, a little bit. It's been going a long time now. It's what, like 5 or 6 years we've been doing it. Um, yeah, we basically decided to leave the UK with £500 between us because we thought that was a good idea. And we got jobs working online, and we had this like digital nomad dream to travel and work at the same time. So the travel never had to end. And yeah, we managed to do that, and we just kind of film our trips, really.
Yeah, so our channel is kind of a mismatch of like digital nomad working online, plus our real passion is the travel side of it.
Mm.
So we kind of put those things together.
Awesome. Awesome. And you guys are currently at home in the UK, right?
We are. We're hunkering down and avoiding the virus back in Somerset in the UK, in the southwest of the UK.
Awesome. And so, but you were on the road when it all hit. So how did that,
Yeah.
where were you and what was it like trying to get home? And
So yeah, we had a bit of a nightmare. We were traveling on a paid trip, working with a hostel company
Mhm.
that provide train travel and hostel stays around Europe, which is probably literally the worst thing I could imagine right now. Small, short space,
Dorm rooms,
dorm
lots
rooms.
of people around.
Yeah,
Busy
travelers
trains.
aren't the cleanliest of people as well. So
Yeah.
really, it was just like a nightmare.
Yeah.
At this point, we were on a trip going around the UK, just about to leave to go into mainland Europe.
Mhm.
At the time, the virus was spreading, but I think Italy hadn't been shut down. So
No,
we were trying to stay ahead of the curve. We talked about it every day, constantly.
that's all we ever talked
We
about.
this is the first time we've said this actually, but
yes.
the first day of this trip, we decided we needed to get off this trip.
Oh,
We
We
knew it
wow.
was
worked out.
gonna get bad, like, seeing the rate it was spreading, especially Spain and Italy, we felt like it was inevitable that it would be a similar situation, especially around London.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
But we got really worked up. We got a bit worried. We tried to look into loopholes with contracts and stuff. In the end, we phoned up the company we were working with, and they were awesome. And
Yeah,
they
super laid back
they
about it.
told us like it's our decision, and so
Mhm.
we there and then said we need to get off.
Yeah, so we basically finished the UK leg of the journey. We went up to Edinburgh, Glasgow, we finished in York, and then we headed home back to Somerset.
Yeah.
Awesome. And did you train home, fly home?
Yeah, actually, we got a bus, didn't we, from London? So we got the train
Yeah.
to London, and we jumped on like a National Express coach kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, but we did get the train to London, and then we had to get the tube in London. And at the
It
time,
was terrible.
London wasn't taking it seriously, but we very much were.
Right.
It was horrific.
Yeah, like going on the underground and the tube in London, prior to the lockdown situation was awful. Like, shoulder to shoulder, you're in
People
very
coughing.
close
Right.
proximity to other people. It was not where we wanted to be. So we were very happy to get home.
So tell us, I mean, what is it like there? I mean, what are your restrictions? What can you and can't you do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too bad, really. I mean, saying that, we are in the countryside, so it's a lot easier to deal with these restrictions in the countryside, I think.
I think it sounds worse in the news. When we were reading about the other countries that are locking down before we'd locked down,
Mm,
it just felt so scary and such a big thing. But
yeah.
the reality, at least for us living in the countryside, is not that big of a deal.
Also, we work from home already. So for
Sure.
us, huge adjustment to having to work from home. I know my brother, he's usually working like in an office all day. So for him, it's been really hard to adjust to those things. But for us, we're kind of used to keeping to ourselves anyway and hunkering down and working at home. Um,
But we are allowed to leave the house as it
mm,
stands once a day for exercise, and then necessary journeys to the shop,
yeah, like to
hospital.
supermarkets and hospitals.
That's basically the only reasons, but they're not really policing it.
Or if you're a key worker as well, like if you work at these supermarkets, at the hospitals, things like that, then of course you can leave. But hopefully, we're waiting for an announcement. We're going to see what's going to happen next week. It might change a little bit.
What about masks and gloves? Are you guys required to wear those
So I
or?
think like we've spent a lot of time in Asia. We've lived in
Mm,
Asia for a long time, and it's so normal to wear masks there. And it's kind of strange how it hasn't become a norm here yet. It's still
yeah.
weird, even despite the fact that we're locked down. If I was to wear a mask outside, it would be considered weird.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever I go to the supermarket, I always wear a mask and gloves anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of people. Like when I was in the supermarket, I think I saw 1 or 2 other people with masks on, so it still isn't very common.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's hard to get hold of them as well at the moment. I imagine it is.
What about you guys? I'm intrigued. Actually.
Yeah. You know, what's funny is we're supposed to wear them when we go out, and we do, and we've worn it. We were wearing them to the store before we were required to, and people still stare at you. Even people with masks on stare at you like they forget they're wearing one. You know? I told her eventually it's going to be like, oh, I like your hair, and now it's going to be like, oh, I like your mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Designer masks.
Changed.
Yeah. So on another note, and we know that you guys have been big advocates for it as far as mental health. How are you doing, you know, keeping your sanity? And
that's a really good question, an important question, I think, especially during all of this, because this is a weird time for everyone.
Yeah.
Even people who are like, you know, the strongest mental health wise are going to be struggling. To be honest with you, when it first happened, we were just really stressed because we felt like, you know, we knew what was happening, but the lockdown measures hadn't been put in place, and we did feel that kind of stress.
Yeah, when we first got home after making the decision that we weren't going to carry on our trip, we got back, and for example, I have a very elderly relative, my dad's mum, and my dad was visiting her a lot, going to the gym, seeing her, and I was getting very, very stressed and worked up, trying to explain this information before it was all being shoved down our throats.
Yeah, and then we actually had the lockdown measures put in place, which helped quite a lot for our stress levels. But I did find that it was really hard to concentrate. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I just could not focus on anything. It was awful. But actually, something that I found really helpful since then is I've been doing like a meditation course, and it's been like 10 minutes a day, but that's how I'm trying to start my days at the moment, with a little bit of perspective before carrying on my day, and a bit of yoga as well. I guess just moving the body in general, whether it's just walking down the road or whatever, is pretty useful.
And for me, just getting outside, just like forcing myself outside almost without fail every day. It's amazing, actually. It's really weird. I didn't think I didn't have bad mental health, but it's done wonders. Like it's just like taken to another level of appreciation.
Like even if you feel that you don't need to go outside or want to go outside, you always feel better after you've done it. So I mean, it's essential to humans, I think, just having nature and fresh air around you.
Right, and you get to see all the birds, right, Alex?
Exactly. You know me. I saw because this is actually true. What I do every day is I go looking for herons every day in a specific spot without fail. Go looking for it. I saw it the other day. I just come running back. Saw it. What about you guys? Like, are you doing anything specifically?
You know, we are trying to spend more time outside. And it was, it's been really hard to get. You said stay focused. I think just getting motivated has been tough.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So hard. I mean, we have a whole list of things, and then it's like, I don't know, you just feel like you're in this crazy alternate world, and you know, it's been really hard, but we've made an effort to really this past week, actually, we really started, okay, you know, we're going to do this, and we made lists, and because somehow if you're able to tick off that list, you feel like you've accomplished something. So
I think perspective is very easy during this time. Like, I know that we're very lucky.
Important or easy?
So perspective is easy and important for me, but motivation is so hard. Like, that's my balance and battle.
It is really difficult, and I think also it's very easy to see everyone on social media being like, I'm learning a new language. I've managed to organize my entire life in a week, and you're like, oh no, I'm doing such a bad job. But I think also it's really important just to take time and chill, and if your mind and body wants to chill and watch Netflix all day, let yourself do that occasionally. It's not, you know, you don't have to be super productive.
It's been amazing for for us. We recently have been connecting with content creators that, like, it wasn't even possible in our minds about having a Zoom chat. Like, you know, we spoke about maybe meeting and stuff, and like that's what we would do. It wouldn't even click to me. Like, well, let's just have a chat on Zoom.
I know. I'm wondering if this will change people a lot going forward to be more sociable online, because I think once you've done it, it seems less weird. At first you're like, oh, that's weird. Why would I speak to someone on my screen that I'm used to speaking to in person? But actually, once you've done it, you realize it's completely fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just talk a little bit about your travels. And I know you did live in Asia quite a bit. And are you guys still teaching online, by the way?
We are, yeah. I mean, yeah, even going back to the mask thing, all my students in Asia are shocked that we don't wear masks every time we leave the house.
Really?
So yeah, we're still speaking to students a lot, actually, I guess, because everyone's got nothing else to do and everyone's in the same situation around the world.
Sure.
Everyone's online learning English.
So I hung up my headset like about a year ago or something, but during this time, I just want something to do. So I've started teaching again. I absolutely love it. Like the money's irrelevant. It's so refreshing to speak to people and actually have something to relate with everyone around the world.
Sure.
It's such a strange thing, different religions, different backgrounds, but we're all affected by this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been great as well, just for socializing.
Sure,
just having a conversation with multiple people. It's probably quite healthy.
Nice. So, okay, so what are your top 3 or 5, I'm going to say travel experiences, but it could be living abroad experience, anything like that. So.
That's a great.
There are so many.
You just
we're very
moved the
lucky.
goalposts.
We have a lot of things to choose from, actually.
Yeah. Well,
we know it's not the sausage McGriddle.
For context, I don't really like food very much. Well, I like food a lot.
You never know.
I like food a lot, but on my channel, I don't like reviewing food. It's just not something I'm into.
He only does it because people are always asking for it.
But the responsibility has been thrust upon me, and I reviewed McDonald's when I came to America, and I didn't like it.
What was it? The deep fried pizza? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
deep fried pizza. In Edinburgh. That was shocking. That was, even I couldn't handle that.
But for experiences, I'd say the number one thing that we've done was leaving the UK with £500 between us. Well, that's roughly $700.
Deciding to work online and just go in with it.
Yeah, had the idea of like burning all bridges and being forced to do something, because people used to tell us how lucky we were to travel. We've been traveling way before the YouTube channel. And it used to annoy me. If people say that you're lucky, if they're from certain countries, we're very, very lucky to be born and everything. Sure. But if we're, say, like American or British, we have actively, we're sacrificing a lot to travel.
Sure.
We're 32 years old. We don't have a home. We don't have a family. We don't have stable jobs. Things that are not necessarily good for mental health, especially. But we did it, and that so to me is like my proudest moment and my best travel moment.
That's pretty great. I guess like other things, like anything to do with wildlife, we love. Actually, one of the things that surprised us most was there's an island in the UK called Skoma Island. It's just off of the coast of Wales.
You must visit when you come.
That was amazing. If you like wildlife, that was one of our top places because there was just such a huge variety.
And the reason this is a must is because, well, one, it's obviously amazing, but nobody knows about it in the UK. No. Everyone I've ever spoken to about, no one has ever said, oh, that place in Wales. It's a tiny little island.
Yeah, it's well worth going. Like there's puffins, which is the main reason we went there, to see the puffins. They're so cute. But we also saw an owl in the middle of the day, like hunting.
Dolphins. Dolphins. Didn't know dolphins were in the UK. Most people from the UK don't know about the wildlife we have, especially in the ocean.
Everyone assumes like dolphins and seals and stuff are more like further afield, but like we can literally see them in our oceans just here. So that was a really nice surprise for us. We didn't expect to be able to see so much in our home country, which was nice.
We need one more. At least one more. Actually, one thing we can say, we were discussing this earlier, is that the US road trip that we did, for people watching the video, and especially for Americans that watched our road trip, you might watch it and think that we didn't have a good time.
We had a wonderful time. Please excuse the British sarcasm and sense of humor. We laugh at ourselves as much as we laugh at you. We promise.
We do have a rule that you can't like laugh at someone that you don't like. So when we're laughing and teasing, that's why people don't laugh. Purely like comes from love, but it doesn't necessarily.
Out west is beautiful.
it's such a perfect place for a road trip.
You're
it really is. There's
so
so
lucky.
much variety.
Yeah, you're so lucky to come from that country, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have that
Well,
outside
you
the
know,
world.
we enjoy our time around the UK, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, the grass is greener always. Anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely. I guess
Yeah,
for
and
us as well, like everything is such a like grander scale over there. Like, yeah, we have
Yes.
nice nature in the UK. I love the nature in the UK, but it's so different. I'm going
Yeah.
to like Horseshoe Bend and places like that.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
mind-boggling to us.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of places in the States that we still haven't been, and we live here.
Yeah.
You know, we were
Yeah.
talking about that. So domestically,
Scale.
there's a lot of places we can see.
Yeah, it's amazing. You don't even have to leave your country to see like pretty much every kind of climate, I guess, and landscape.
I will always tease Americans for the fact that, like, I think a lot of you don't have passports, I believe. But I actually do understand, because your country does really have, to me, it should be 50 countries. They are so different.
Right, you're right.
Yeah.
It is. And I know when we're over there and people ask us, you know, where else we've been in the States, or they'll say, you know, they've been somewhere, and we're like, oh yeah, that's, you know, we've been there, and they're like, oh, how far is that? And we're like, oh, it's not that far, you know, it's like a 5-hour drive, and they're like, 5-hour drive, we can cross the whole country in that amount of time, right? I mean,
Well, I mean, a 5-hour drive is like, you have to stay a week away for that. You don't. In England, I live 2 hours from London. London is a weekend away.
Yeah.
You don't drive 2 hours to London. You have to stay there. It's too expensive.
And actually, when we first came back from the US trip, we were, you know, traveling a little bit around the UK, and we're like, wow, this is such a quick trip. This is amazing. Like, we got really comfortable and used to those huge journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
it's funny the differences. What about, okay, here's one. What has been your biggest shock travel story? You know, maybe culture, food, whatever, attitude, I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, like probably my first ever solo trip, like when I first met Alex, I'd never really traveled on my own before, and I didn't decide to go to, like, you know, Germany or France or something. I went to Bangkok.
Right.
So it was my birthday as well. I remember waking up on my birthday in the middle of Bangkok, and I was like, what am I doing here? One-way ticket, you know, I had no way of getting home. I was just like, why am I here? This is so weird. And yeah, everything is so different. And it was the first time I'd ever been to Asia as well. So there was, huge culture shock there for me.
And coincidentally, I 1 month prior to that had gone traveling on my own as well. We had stayed in the same hostel, but a month apart, so we didn't know. So my first experience in Bangkok, first time ever traveling, was exactly the same.
Oh, that's funny. That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
all the hostels to choose. We chose the same one. Probably because it was rated pretty highly on Booking.com, I imagine.
The other one that comes to mind that was the biggest culture shock was actually, I think it was our 50th country we'd been to together, and it was India. We arrived in India, and our first day there, we traveled a lot now at this point, and we got hit with the same culture shock we had when we first traveled. I think we got spat on the first day.
Like by mistake, you know. It wasn't like they looked at us and
no.
Like we were just
Are you sure?
And someone
I know, we're
spit
not
on the
sure.
street. Landed on my foot. It was so gross.
It was intense. It was intense.
Like we got out of the taxi in Delhi, stepped onto like a pile of rubbish, looked up, there was a cow eating the rubbish, and I was like,
we're in another world now.
Where am I? But we also really loved our time in India in the end, but the beginning was a little rocky.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys, coming on, telling a little bit about yourselves, the channels, your experiences, and what you're going through with, the pandemic. So
and for those of you who have not seen any of their videos, make sure you go and subscribe. We will link it somewhere.
They are some of the funniest.
Yes, lots of fun.
Thank you very much.
Gotta have a good sense of humor, so make sure you check them out. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.